So Amarath was watching a video of me talking about these crazy people, right? And so Amarath was watching my video,
9 times out
right?
of 10 figure out.
And so then pretty much Amarath goes and says that the people that are doing that need to go live in LA where the fires are, right? That's pretty much what it is. I'm not really going to repeat this. Now, here's really the big difference between myself and a lot of people that are my detractors. Is that I have no problem calling out, saying that that's not a nice thing to say, it's a bad thing to say, you shouldn't say that. And so the big problem that I think a lot of people have with, and again, yeah, we can't incite violence. I have tried to make a conscious effort to not support or promote people that, or promote things that incite active violence, right? And it's a bit much, right? And so anyway, this is the big difference between myself and the people that criticize me. Is that the people that criticize me and the people that complain about me all the time like to make excuses for other people that are on their side inciting violence or saying that people should kill themselves or anything like that. Violence is big bad. It is. And so the difference between me is I have no problem saying that that's bad, right? Maybe Amarath has a bad day. I disagree with what her opinion is, but, you know, everybody's going to have whatever opinion they want, right? That's it. That's a straw man? No, it's not. It's not a straw man. When one of their when one of those people, and this is, Hassan also had a lot to chirp about me as well, because he saw this clip and he had to give his take as well. And so it literally is. These people really try hard to justify advocating for violence, doxing, threatening, putting bounties on, and just in general being violent. This is not good. It's not good behavior. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what it is. But some people think that it's okay if they're on, you know, what they would consider the right side of history. So we'll go ahead and we'll watch these clips. Obviously, you know, I take 1 day off. I take 1 day off. And this is what happens.
Natural being part of the deplatforming campaign, etc. I know this is drama, but I wanted to make people and well-meaning streamers who I like aware, like Mike from PA and others.
How can you call Mike from PA a well-meaning streamer when he was the one who threatened to beat up Destiny and put a $100,000 bounty on Destiny? How can you possibly call him well-meaning when you're making a post criticizing somebody like this? Again, like, listen, this is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem that I think a lot of people have. And Hassan isn't saying this, by the way. The person who he's reading their tweet is saying this. I'm not blaming this on Hassan. My point is, though, people fucking hate this hypocrisy. They hate this blatant, unfair, bullshit hypocrisy where you can call a piece of shit that is putting bounties on people for $100,000. Are we having we have effing? Why are we having effing? There's no Fs. Yeah, what are you talking about? Of course, you don't blame Hassan. The reason why I'm not blaming Hassan is because he's literally not saying it. He's reading a message from somebody in chat, right? Here's the difference between myself and a lot of the people that criticize me. Is that it doesn't matter how unfair they get. I never stop being fair. Because the moment that I stop being fair is the moment that I no longer have any integrity. It's the moment that I'm no longer the person who is, you know, on the right side of things. So that's always what it's going to be, right? And I'm always going to try and do that. Now, I might make mistakes, right? Everybody makes mistakes, but I try not to make mistakes. My point, though, is that the problem is, like, how the fuck do you say somebody is well-meaning when they put a bounty out on somebody that they don't like? Insane. Fucking crazy to say that. Hold yourselves accountable before you try to hold other people accountable.
Right-wing streamer radicalization. Step 1, go to Hassan's house. Step 2, get divorced. Step 3, watch Asmongold once.
That's all it takes.
No, it's... I promise you. I promise you 2 things. 1, if there wasn't such a fucking high density of hogs that were looking for hog content, right-wing content... What the fuck's going on with my camera today? If there wasn't such a high density of hogs that were like literally looking desperately for some kind of hog content on Twitch, which led to a massive amount of people gravitating towards Asmongold and Asmongold getting like fucking 50K every day doing right-wing commentary, none of the...
If you think that the people who are watching this clip and think that it's weird are hogs, I feel like 80%, 90%. Like if you show this clip to an average American, a Walmart American, they're going to think these people are fucking nuts. This isn't a extreme hog opinion. This is the general consensus. It's not even... I don't understand. Like, this is... And again, I'm not even defending what Amarath is saying. I disagree with what Amarath is saying. But to say that my content is eliciting these reactions, I don't think that's fair.
To a massive amount of people gravitating towards Asmongold, and Asmongold getting like fucking 50K every day doing right-wing commentary. None of these motherfuckers would do this, okay? They just wouldn't. That's it. For a lot of people...
What Hassan is saying is that the reason why people are saying the things that they're saying now is because I've proven that these opinions are popular by the amount of views that I get. And I think that is accurate. And so basically, but the alternative to that is that people are censored and they can't have the opinions that they actually have. They can't express them because they're afraid of getting banned. So that's basically what happens.
It's not like a genuinely held perspective. For many of them, they just don't care. It comes from a place of like, I don't really give a shit.
Right. He's right. Most people, and this is true with a lot of gamers and like people that are streamers, not everybody is involved in politics. And you see this with every election. There is a huge contingency, like somewhere around 20 to 30% of the population that's eligible to vote does not vote. This is true.
Really necessarily give a shit about politics, but I see that this is like getting clout. And the perfect example I can give you is when the most prominent voice of politics on the platform before this last round was myself. Back then, did you...
Oh my God. I would say Hassan is still the most prominent voice for politics on Twitch. Like, I cover politics and a bunch of other stuff. Hassan primarily covers politics. Like, that is the primary focus of his channel. That is what he does. Like, I've never gone and done this, like, he's number 2, I'm number 1. I don't see it that way. I don't know why. Like, I guess people in his chat are mean to him. I don't do that. I think it's ridiculous. That's so just, yeah, that's how I feel.
Think that every single streamer was hyper woke. I mean, there are plenty of streamers who were, but
I think that he brings up a good point here. What he's saying is it's the power of suggestion and the power of consensus. It's actually just what I was talking about before about how Reddit existed. And basically what he's saying is that a lot of streamers felt more confident and more comfortable expressing woke opinions because that was the way the culture was. But now that the culture is shifted and people have seemingly changed their opinions and the consensus is different now you have people that aren't expressing those opinions as much because they're afraid of backlash. Now, what I would counter this with is that both of those groups of people are equally disingenuous and they're both doing and saying things that are just simply to fit in with the group. Now, you can say it doesn't really matter, but it's important to keep that in mind. And also, the reason why people were, like, hypothetically, like, super woke back then, like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, is because not being like that caused you to get banned off of the platform. So you can't really compare the two things because back then there wasn't even the option to have another opinion. You couldn't even say anything different. So obviously when you ban everybody who disagrees with you, you're going to be on a platform of people that only disagree or that only agree with you. Like, that's just how it is.
But there were a lot of streamers who didn't necessarily give a shit, but basically played ball with that kind of politics. I think
they would make comments and say things that were positive towards woke stuff because those streamers, the reason why though is because those streamers were doing the same thing that Starbucks, they're doing the same thing that Target was doing or anything else. Like, people need to stop thinking about a lot of these bigger streamers as like individuals and start thinking about them more as brands, is that these people are brands and they're trying to say the thing that's popular with the most people. So they're trying to have the opinion that is going to get them more viewers, that's going to make people like them more. That's it. Like you? Well, I don't know. I mean, you could go back. Like, the thing is that you could say like me, but like you can watch videos that I made in 2014 where I say the same things that I'm saying now. Right? You can go back and watch videos of me saying like in 2020, right, with the George Floyd riots, or like January 6th. You know, like I said the same thing then I'm saying now. I've never changed my narrative about hardly anything. I think if anything, January 6th is a little bit different because, like, I originally didn't think it was that big of a deal. Then I watched some of Destiny's coverage, and Destiny, I think he made a pretty good argument to January 6th being worse than what my initial impression of it was. And we're not going to begin an open debate about this, right? This is just, I'm just expressing my viewpoints and how it's evolved over the time. But that's because I learned more about it, right? But anyway, of course, people had these opinions because those opinions were what got them more brand deals and they got them more money. It wasn't because they had these opinions organically. It's because the people that weren't allowed to have those opinions were banned. That's it.
A lot of people in this community, because we're so intentional and so hyper aware of politics, assume that content creators in their fucking communities of rather apolitical people don't just like swing in every direction.
He's right.
Simply because, you know, that gains them more prominence. Okay.
I think that's a degree. There's a degree of that is true. Is that people will try to generally echo the consensus of the public. Most people, and like you saw this, I think a really good example about this, and like Hassan can probably agree with this. I don't know if he would or not. Is that the way that when the Israel-Palestine thing happened, like October 7th happened, every celebrity was rushing out to give a take on it. But then a lot of them, like, remember like Justin Bieber, who like said, pray for Israel, and then he posted a picture of like Gaza, and it was like destroyed, right? So a lot of these celebrities are just trying, and streamers are the same way, right? That's the point that I'm making, is like they're only trying to have the opinion that's popular. That's it. And so, yeah, that's really it. Yeah, Bieber L. Yeah, exactly. And so, like, that's actually accurate. Searching for views.
Is it.
Yeah.
In many circumstances, that's precisely what's going on.
Yeah, and I think also, I think it's reductive to say that to an extent also, because you have the component of platform bans. Like, there were people that got platform bans for having opinions that were problematic, right? Like, I think, obviously, Destiny is an example of that. Like, I would say Aiden Ross is an extreme example of that, who, by the way, apparently people said Aiden Ross got unbanned, or he didn't get unbanned, I don't know. Like, he's tried to rehabilitate his image, etc. And so, like, that's really the way I see it in a lot of cases. But he's also trying to shame your community. No, yeah, I mean, sure, right? I mean, obviously, he doesn't agree with a lot of things that I say, and so he's going to be, you know, upset about it. But anyway, the point is that, yes, consensus does matter. So this is a video that I did, and, there's a two-part. This is one part, this is the second part. This has 81,000 likes with 500 dislikes. The idea that like this content isn't popular, or like this isn't the consensus, is insane. And I would argue that I don't really see a lot of people that are producing content that is in favor of these types of people, that is receiving this level of consensus and this level of feedback. The reason why what I'm saying is popular, and the reason why people watch these videos, is because they agree with them. And I think that it creates, like, there's like a symbiosis, right? Where you have me putting out an opinion and then people agreeing with it, which makes me, who is putting out opinions, more well-known. And then, you know, it's like a multiplier effect for all of that, right? And so anyway, that's what's been happening a lot. And what's this here? Because it's obvious truth. Yeah, I think that the idea that, like, thinking that these people aren't crazy, like, you play this video Like, what percentage would you guys guess would watch this video and think to themselves, holy shit, these people are nuts? Like, I would say 99.5%. I would say it's easily over 80%, right? Easily over 80%. And so anyway, 99% of people on Earth, yeah, exactly. And so this is what happens with a lot of things. Our position to take, exactly. And so the idea that, like, these opinions are not popular or anything like that is just completely untrue. It's completely and massively untrue. And, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I mean, it's not because they're getting views, but I think that it does matter, though. I mean, and to Hassan's point, I think that it does make a difference that when I'm saying something and then a lot of other people see that, wait a minute, hold up, other people actually agree with this, right? This actually is true. It does cause a lot more people to say, well, actually, yeah, I do feel this way. Because for a long time, that entire perspective was censored from Twitter and Reddit and YouTube. And I think you can see that with COVID. Like, if you look at the way people discuss COVID now versus then, it's a totally different universe. Anyway, we'll go to the next one here. Why they're saying
This is, in many ways, no different than when Elon Musk hits the fucking Sig Heil, other people do it too, and it normalizes that kind of attitude. It normalizes that kind of politics. And it's precisely the...
To be fair, just in case anybody was keeping count, I defended Elon Musk with doing that because I thought it was just an awkward action. Did I defend that pastor from doing the Sig Heil? Did I defend Steve Bannon from doing the Sig Heil? No, I didn't, because I thought it was intentional. So this is, again, a false equivalence. I've never said that. That doesn't mean that I'm, like, okay with all of it happening. I only said that it was okay because I didn't think Elon meant it that way. You should defend them? Well, I mean, the point that I was making with Elon is that I didn't believe that it was intentional. I didn't think that it was. I didn't think there was enough evidence to believe that. But, yeah, you clearly didn't. Exactly. Anyway, we'll keep going. The Argentinian president also did it? Yeah, I never defended any of those.
Same thing that's happening.
But I mean, I clearly know about them, right? So I didn't talk about it.
Here, okay? Asmongold says a bunch of unhinged shit, and he's popping off.
If you were to take a poll of the American public, or, hey, if you want to have it be even more in my favor, how about a poll from the whole population of the world? Who was more unhinged? Myself or this person in the video? I think that would be a very good day for me. That would be such an incredibly very good day for me. And so you don't have to ask. Everybody knows this. And so the idea that, like, what I'm saying about these people is unhinged is outrageous. That's why these videos have received such good receptions. It's because a lot of people agree with it.
Other content creators see that, as I've told you before.
And yeah, you're right. We did have the poll, like the election, which was, you know, again, I think that does stand to communicate a lot.
And they respond to it.
Wait, let me go back.
And he's popping off. Mm-hmm. Other content creators see that, as I've told you before, and they respond to it. They see.
Well, I think the alternative to what he's suggesting, the alternative to that is that I'm not allowed to express my opinion because me expressing my opinion would lead to other people expressing their opinion. Now, I'm of the viewpoint that it's best to allow myself to express my opinion and also for Hassan to express his opinion. I think that it's really important that we can get all of these ideas out there in the public, and then the people can make up their mind based off of what they think is the most compelling. And so, like, the alternative to that is censorship. And I don't agree with that at all. I'm not a fan of that at all. It's free speech. Yeah, it is free speech. Now, again, like, we can have two separate arguments, right? Who's breaking the Twitch terms of service and what I think the Twitch terms of service should be. Like, there's a lot of things that basically I don't think you should get banned for basically anything except for breaking the law. So, like, for a lot of these cases, I would actually not really care about anybody getting banned. But at the same time, I don't think you can just ban everybody. I feel like this is a pretty good indicator, right? banning everybody who disagreed with like COVID or who disagreed with like any woke policies, whatever you want to call it, did that work? Well, apparently the election proved that it didn't. So as somebody, and like he's been on the internet for a really long time too, and so like we both remember like how the internet was like pre 2012, where it was like an anything goes situation. And looking back and thinking like comparing that to now, has the censorship campaigns have they made the internet a better place? And I think the answer to that is absolutely not. I think that they have not made the internet a better place at all, and I think that they've actively made it worse.
See that, and they go, ooh, I can get in on this as well.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever considered that some of these people aren't grifting and that they actually do have the Hitlerian dog in them?
Thinking these people are crazy doesn't make you Hitler.
Doesn't matter. Whether they're grifting or not doesn't fucking matter. You can have a dude who has like unhinged fucking politics, but ultimately their output is what is most important here, okay? If they have unhinged politics privately, it's usually going to come out. But what matters is what they're saying, because they're content creators. They have platforms, they have influence, they have prominence, they have audience members.
Yeah, but like the problem with that is like saying that the only people that should be able to express their opinion are people who you agree with or people you think that like they have the right opinions. I think that's a very dangerous road to go down. It is, and I think that the people that do go down that road oftentimes were leading the campaigns to have Hassan deplatformed. They're the same ones. It's just that they see that argument from a different perspective. I think that the only way to look at this in a healthy way is to value freedom of speech, let people put their ideas out there, let it be known to the free marketplace of ideas, and the people will decide what they think is in their best interest. And they won't always make the right decisions, but I think that they have the right to make the decisions for themselves, and they'll probably make better decisions than some, you know, unelected council of moderators in San Francisco.
Who love them. They have audience members who will be swayed by their attitude. Okay? Mm-hmm. I don't give a shit if they're genuinely, in this regard, I don't give a shit if they're genuinely...
Who's swaying society to think a certain way? Everyone who's talking about politics is trying to sway people to think about it the way that they think about it. Obviously, people discuss things and they talk about things in persuasive ways because they want other people to, you know, take on that same viewpoint.
On board with these politics, or if they're just simply doing it for the grift.
Let's see if is there another one? Yeah, there's another one. Asan keeps playing Destiny fans. Sex Destiny fans spread fake bullshit on a Reddit group. They think control moderation. Then they get shocked and get pushed a lot of randoms, margins, politics of a right-winger. Wonder why Asmon's fans use the exact same language they use about me being a radical. Well, I don't think this is really fair either. Why Asmon's fans use the exact same language they use about me being a radical. Well, I think that every single person will come to the answer of 4 when you look at a question, which is, what is 2 plus 2? When you bring on somebody who is a terrorist, you introduce them as a terrorist, and then people say that you're a terrorist supporter, I think that you're going to obviously have that reaction because that's the thing that you're doing. So maybe the reason why people from different communities are coming to the same conclusion about the things that you're doing is because that is, in fact, what you're doing. Like, am I crazy? Like, if you show 100 people a picture of an apple, almost every single person's going to say it's an apple. Let's see what the rest one is. There's 2 of these. And where's the other one? Some of them are libs who hate Asmon's politics. They just hate me more because their politics are primed by what Epstein says, and hates me, and he hates Asmon. This is some fucking like this is some Game of Thrones shit. Like I don't know about that, right? But anyway, yeah, this is between them. I'm not even gonna get involved with that. You can't reason with extremists. Well, I'm not trying to change anybody's, like, I'm not trying to change people's minds that are extremists. I'm trying to just look at it in a way that is fair and balanced. Now, Obviously, everybody has biases. I have biases, you have biases, everybody has biases. But I try to be fair. I try to be fair, I try to be accurate. XQC talked about this as well. Here we go.
People voted for Trump. Okay. Bro, regardless of what we were saying, okay, look at the amount of votes. Imagine saying the general population feels this way, but then the general population votes a different way. And you're like, well, I think you're just wrong.
There's a little bit of nuance to this, which is that a plurality of people voted for Trump, not a majority. So Trump did not receive 50% or more of the general public's votes, but a lot of people don't vote, period. So like like what XQC is saying is like it's like technically wrong, but I like spiritually right. You know, it's effectively correct. That like it's very clear that like Trump's viewpoint is more popular than the other person's viewpoint. Because if the other person's viewpoint, like Kamala Harris or Biden's viewpoint, would have been more popular, they would have had more people to vote for them. But there is a good amount of people who are just simply indifferent or they don't want to vote for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, Trump did win the popular vote for the first time in 20 years. The last time that a Republican won the popular vote was Bush in 2004, and that was right off the heels of September 11th, which basically turned USA into Helldivers 2. So yeah, big surprise. If you don't vote, don't complain. Everybody's going to complain that's it's not really a waste of time to talk about. That was Reagan. No, Reagan also, I think, won the popular vote, but I was saying the most recent time that a Republican has won the popular vote before now was Bush in 2004. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's true. Bush got it most recently. Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about here? I'm confused.
Yep.
You cannot say the general population doesn't like this, and then the general population votes for somebody to be in office that holds those views. So who are you talking to? Like,
yeah, I think that for a long time there was a manufactured consensus of, like, I would say extreme left-wing opinions that was created by a censorship apparatus through social media, Hollywood, and just in general all types of mainstream popular media. And I think that, again, the way that like really broke that dam was Elon Musk buying Twitter. When Elon Musk bought Twitter and kind of let everybody loose, then everybody started seeing all of the flaws, and they started saying, hey, actually, no, we're not this tiny, extreme minority. There's actually more of us than there are of them. And so X with common sense, exactly. So, yeah, I think that there was a manufactured far-left consensus that happened, and Trump winning is a direct result of that manufactured consensus being challenged. And I think that challenge came from the beginning, Twitter being bought by Elon Musk.
who is the general population? Is it the residents of California? Is it the big cities' online personalities?
Well, yeah, and in California, they voted against Trump. Collectively, more people voted, and Hassan's in California, right? So, like, around there, yeah, nobody likes Trump. I'm in Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas, like, if I go to LA, I'm basically in the same place. Like, LA is very similar to Austin in terms of, like, demographics, population, etc. The only thing that's different about LA is that gas is about twice as much.
People that are on Facebook, is it the Twitter Andes? No, stop saying the general population. That's just what it is.
Really give a shit about politics.
People voted.
Let me see. We'll go to the other one. Is he talking about me?
Yeah, I disagree. I think holding the view that is the more popular does give you the more popularity. I think another little hint of projection. If you hold leftist views in areas that are very outrage heavy and leftist, you get a lot of notoriety and you get a lot of appraisal. And his takes are extremely popular and are always in the center of what public opinion likes. And he speaks loudly.
So true. He's so right. God, so true.
About what people like, and He's just gonna glaze public opinion.
He's talking about me, by the way.
Explain how that doesn't apply to him. Wait, no, they're not. They are extremely, like public opinion glazing. What?
Yep. No, I do. I mean, a lot of my opinions and perspectives come, you know, they're the shared opinions of a lot of people. Absolutely. Very, very true. And I think that's the case for a lot of things. And I feel like it's... Just a second. Let me make sure that I...
Look at the amount of votes.
Oops. 1 second. Let me make sure that I follow the rest of this. Oh, God. Oh, God. It's still going on. And so here's really the main difference between myself and a lot of the people that are disagreeing with me and a lot of the people that complain about me. The main difference between the two of us is that when Amarath pops off and says something like what she said, I have no hesitation and no reservation about saying that it's not good, it's bad to say that you hope that the people that you don't like or you think are crazy, which I don't like them and I do think they're crazy, but I don't wish for them to be caught on fire in the LA fires. I think that that's too much over the line and I don't support that. So the problem is that while people that are of my perspective are willing to rein in and call out extremism, bad actors, and bad opinion, and this doesn't make Amarath a bad person. She could have had a bad day. You know, it's just how it is, right? I mean, that's how it is. And again, I'm not trying to, like, you know, crucify her either. I'm just saying I don't agree with that opinion. I think it's a bad opinion to have, and I don't think people should be talking about things that way, right? I don't like it. So the problem is that a lot of the people that do this are unwilling to call out bad actors in their group. I am more than willing to call out bad actors in my group because I don't view myself as really part of that group to begin with. I made the video about Elon Musk. He got mad about me. I've made bad videos about Trump. I've criticized Trump's stance on Ukraine multiple times, and I've had no problem with that. So this is what's always been happening, and I've covered everything. So I've been fair about everything that I can be. Amarath said the equivalent of what many people are saying whenever they tell liberals they should go live in the Middle East with their progressive ideology. That doesn't mean that you are wishing death on them. I think that telling somebody to live inside of a fire is very different than telling somebody to live inside of an oppressive society. That's just me, right? I mean, like, again, like, we're getting very granular in, like, these conversations. But my point is that, again, I don't really support telling somebody to kill themselves or somebody should die or whatever, right? Anyway, I'll watch this one. And then we're gonna move on.
Reminder that Casey Tron trying to do the same tactic, the same sort of endeavor. She's not as attractive, therefore not as successful in that business, and she just failed.
I didn't say it.
She's mad because she's hating on somebody.
I'm not saying that.
She did, but was successful and actually made some money because she would have done the same fucking thing. So the grifter, hey brother, look at yourself, man. Hey, yo, pull up a mirror, brother. Hey, pull up a mirror. Let's be honest. You're the true grifter. You just failed. Let's be honest. Hey, I'm just saying what it is. I'm just saying what it's like. I'm not throwing any insults. That is textbook what it is. Anything else?
It's true, by the way. He's completely right. Casey Tron tried doing the same thing 10 years ago.
Also, she's a grifter of what though?
People are overusing the term grifter and they're devaluing it the same way they do with Nazi, racist, homophobe, and everything else. Grifting is whenever you do something for popularity or money. Isn't Amarath like fucking like a super multi-millionaire because of OnlyFans? You think her reacting to this video is grifting? Come on. What are we doing?
I'm confused. You can hate Ammo for like this take. Whatever,
yeah, sure.
But
why they're saying what?
Grifter of what?
People use that word too much. I made a tweet about this. I said that the term grifter is like one of those. When I hear that word, I take what a person is saying a lot less seriously.
Click the link.
It's a buzzword? Yeah, it's become a buzzword. And so...
Interesting.
Follow the money? Yeah.
I mean, I gotta be honest with you. People are mad at her for what she said, but I mean, she kind of fired first though. No disrespect. She kind of fired first though. I mean, if you attack people, I mean, they have the right to defend themselves on social media. I mean, no, she didn't. She did.
I actually thought you were different. Oh God.
She did this. Huh?
I think that women do this weird thing where they expect to have universal support from other women regardless of what they do. I think it's actually one of the toxic things that women do, where they try to support women over, a man in some circumstances. And this is also a scientifically proven fact. So there's something that's referred to as own group bias, and women are 5 times more likely to exhibit own group bias than men are. So it's actually this is a fact. You look it up right now, Google it, you find it, you see it's true. It's an extreme statement to make. So I just want to make sure this is cited. 4 experiments confirmed women's automatic own group bias is remarkably stronger than men's. Any more study on the female own group bias? Women are nearly 5 times more likely to show an automatic preference for their own gender than men are. Like, this is just how it is. Right? Yeah, it's an evolutionary trait. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that this is true, and I'm not making this up.
I'm confused. Well, I'm not defending what she said. I'm just saying, like she fired personal first. And that was a response to what? It was a response to, like, a post about what she did on stream, which is not at her. Like, what?
It's dumb as fuck, man. Men will do the literal opposite. They'll simp for women, for girls to take a guy's side even though the guy is right. Yeah, because they want to fuck the girl. That's why. It's that simple. Like, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's also probably an evolutionary trait as well. Absolutely. But anyway, yeah, so the reason why a lot of the content and stuff like this that's been happening, and the reason why a lot of people watch videos that I do, etc., is actually very simple. It's because a lot of people agree with them, and that's it. And so if you want to have more viewers, if you want to, get more people to watch, you have to look at how to calibrate what you're communicating in a way that the public can understand and appreciate. And notice the way that I said that. I'm not saying that you have to change what you're saying, but the way that you say something is sometimes more important than what you're saying. And I think that there's been a lot of examples where, like, people will get really mad at me for something, and it's really like I have this problem myself, and it's because I really kind of play into it, is that I will usually communicate ideas that are kind of like unpopular but true in like a very hostile way in order to like bait a reaction. And I do, but sometimes that alienates people against me. So the point is that if you want to communicate with people, like, the best argument isn't an argument. It's showing people that this type of thing is it happening. I don't know why you guys are getting so many Fs. Like on mine, I have 0 dropped frames. I don't know where these dropped frames are coming from at all. So it just seems pretty weird. Is Reddit a valid source? Well, from the post that I showed. Well, Reddit usually is linking to a study. You can look at 50 other studies. I mean, it's an observable reality, so you can repeat it and see it repeated multiple times. But anyway, so yeah, the big difference between myself and people that criticize me a lot is that I have no problem calling out bad actors and calling out people who say things that I disagree with. And even if they are ideologically more aligned with me than not. And I think if people that are disagreeing with me and people that are, at least perceive themselves to be on the opposite side of me, I think that if they took my approach more often, they would be more successful themselves. Because I think that people can see hypocrisy. And the reason why the public hates hypocrisy so much is because it's a insult to the public's intelligence. And that insult happens when you take whenever you take something and you lie to the public and you say this isn't the same thing, and everybody can see that it is. And so that's why, is that hypocrisy is the personal insult of we're okay with this and you should be okay with this because of this reason. Context matters, yeah. And, but yeah, I disagree with you on a lot of stuff, that you're the only streamer I watch. Yeah, no, and that's fine, right? A lot of people disagree. It just depends on how. And some people are child predators. One was proudly declaring that all our children are trans. I don't know about that. As one wasn't mentioned here, I never recall, said he wanted people to die. Yeah, exactly. I never said that. And if I had said that, I would have got banned. I would have got in trouble. Like, that would have been another big post. Everybody's mad at me. And if I had gotten suspended for that, I would have said, okay, I probably went over the line, right? So yeah, there you go. The title of the post is literal garbage. You never advocated for violence against these people? No, I never did. Of course not. I've tried to make a very conscious effort to avoid doing things like that and to avoid being that kind of person. Now, obviously, everybody makes mistakes, etc. But it's one of the reasons why, and I think and the reason why. So let me explain the reason why. Is that every action that I take and everything that I do, I think is working towards a greater goal of something that I think is beneficial towards me, or some sort of outcome that I'm looking to have, right? That's everything that I do. And I think about, is me doing this going to get me closer to that outcome or not? I don't think about it emotionally at all. I don't think about how I feel about it. I don't think about anything. I only think about, how do I move myself closer to that goal with every action that I take? And I view advocating for violence as something that takes me away from that goal. And that's why I apologize for the Palestine thing, because I thought that it was me taking myself farther away from the goal, because it was doing something that was needlessly divisive and problematic, right? And like calibrating that into a way that's more understandable and fairer for people, I think is something that people like watching. And I think that, you know, again, the numbers speak for themselves.